What's up, my wizards? It's Dev, SB, Mtg, we like it in Magic, and today I got another kind of unexpected video that I didn't think I was even going to make, but I was able to carve out a little block of time in the quest to make as much content for you as possible. Today we're going to do something a little crazy, do some experimentation and take a deck with 15 lands into the arena. We're not doing the meme where we play 13 lands. It's not quite that, but we're going to make room for a couple of extra lands and see how that works. But we're mostly playing one-drops in this deck, including 29 one-drop creatures in this thing, starting with Banehound. We're doing the cat thing with Cauldron Familiar and Witch's Oven. Obviously, we got Foulmire Knight in here. Maybe draw a card. Little Death Touch guy is good. Gutter Bones can come back from the graveyard. It's Savannah Lion stats. Hateful Eidolon. We got things like Dead Weight in the deck, along with Kaya's Ghost Form. That's a cool one-drop. And the only two-drop in the deck, Myra's Grasp. All of those. Oh, and also, we've got Mogus's Favor as a 2-of in the deck. Another decent one-drop. All of this really, really good with Hateful Eidolon. Probably the best card advantage engine this deck could ever want, and most of the enchantments that we're playing only cost 1 mana, so we can draw a whole bunch of cards off of Hateful Eidolon. That's exactly what a deck with 15 lands and a bunch of one-drops wants to do, so Hateful Eidolon might be one of the best cards in the deck, but we also get Knight of the Ebon Legion, which wears a Mogus's Favor pretty well some of the time too, and if we do happen to have extra mana, we can pump it into Knight of the Ebon Legion. It's another one of the best cards in the deck. But as far as creatures go, there's also Vampire of the Dire Moon, 4 copies of that, a little Death Touch, Lifelink, dude, why not? And Sanitarium Skeleton, sort of a 5th copy of Gutter Bones with reverse stats, but just another way to use our mana if we have extra mana, because I want to play out of the graveyard as much as possible. Not only do we want card advantage off of things like Hateful Eidolon, but we also want to be able to do stuff on turns where we otherwise draw dead. So Gutter Bones, Sanitarium Skeleton, Mogus's Favor, they all give us a way to play out of our graveyard on turns where, you know, we just really don't have too many cards in our hand and we played out. So I like some of the things that this deck does, but obviously it's pretty straightforward. You know, just play as few lands as you possibly can and as many high impact one-drops as you possibly can and try to do something with that. You know, play a long game with Cauldron Familiar and Witch's Oven, maybe smash in for some early damage and finish off the game with the cat combo. A couple of different dimensions, different paths you can take to victory. But before we get into the arena, I want to quickly discuss some cards that you could play in this deck, and I mean quickly. Dread Malkin. I probably should include like a 1 or 2 of Dread Malkin in the deck, another good mana sink, but I just don't want to cut like Banehounds and stuff for it. Duress, obviously you want to play 3 or 4 of this in the sideboard if you play best of 3. Eye Collector, probably not great, but at least a 1 mana 1/1 flyer. There are a few of those though, including Pilfering Imp, which I think is probably the better card all things considered. I do like Pilfering Imp, but again, just not quite the level of playability I was looking at. Same thing with Grim Physician. You know, I actually really like this card. I'm kind of interested in it. I think it might play really well against mono red, but since we've already got things like Dead Weight and Mogus's Favor and whatnot, I'm just not sure the Grim Physician is a must-play card over some more aggressive creatures that we could play, but I am still kind of interested in this card. I like the cut of its jib, but as far as other stuff, in the one-drop slot, Fruit of Tizarus, this could also be a sort of reach piece in the late game if you play it out of your graveyard once or twice, and it should have plenty of cards in our graveyard to fuel the escape clause on this. So if we have enough mana, again, in the quite late game, and we weren't able to finish it up quick enough, which is kind of a problem with this deck, then Fruit of Tizarus as a 1 or 2 of could actually work out. I could see that happening. Necrotic Wound, again, we put a bunch of creatures in the graveyard, so I could see this being a 1 mana way to kill big creatures. Haven't tried it out yet, though. Omen of the Dead, just 1 mana to get creatures back. I don't think it's high enough impact, but I do like the Scry if you need that late in the game. There's also Price of Betrayal, good sideboard card that you might want to think of for killing planeswalkers and whatnot. It could work, but I'm not sure how much I like it. At least wanted to point it out, though. Spark Harvest, another thing that can kill big creatures, and again, planeswalkers, and it's probably worth playing a 1 or 2 of in the deck. Spectre Shriek, interesting sideboard piece against black, but I don't know that you'd end up playing it. Then as far as 2 and 3 drops, I've got Ephemia the Cacophony here, and we play something like, I think it's 12 auras in the deck, plus we've got like Hateful Eidolon, so there are plenty of enchantments to fuel this, and this is a good way to hop on board and extend your board presence and all that relatively early in the game, but a lot of our enchantments revolve around either killing our opponent's creatures. So if our opponent doesn't have creatures, then we can't really get enchantments in the graveyard that easily. Or they revolve around our creatures dying, like Kaya's Ghost Form, for instance. So, or maybe Mogus's Favor on one of our 1/2s, and that has to die to put the Mogus's Favor in the graveyard. So there are a lot of ways that Ephemia probably isn't as good in this deck as I want it to be, so I'm not trying it, although I think it might be the best card that I'm not playing in this deck. Aside from that, Timurit Calls the Dead. I wanted to go ahead and talk about this card right after Ephemia because they go together so well. If you play Ephemia, you might want to put a couple of copies of Timurit Calls the Dead in there, but then you got to put like a land or two at least more. You want to get up to like 19 lands at least if you want to play like 2 copies of Timurit Calls the Dead. And then it's just not the same deck anymore. So that kind of led to me not playing Ephemia as well. I want to point out Noxious Grasp here because if you're playing in Best of 3, you want to play like 4 copies of Noxious Grasp in your sideboard. And the Priest of Forgotten Gods might actually be another decent 2-drop for the deck, so we play so many 1-drop creatures that it really shouldn't be hard to activate this starting on turn 3 in most games. That can wreck some decks, so at least think about Priest of Forgotten Gods. And by the way, when you draw the card and get the mana, it's almost certain that you'll be able to play 1 or 2 more things out of your hand and set it up for an activation next turn. So I can see Priest being really good in this deck, but I don't want to sacrifice that much board presence in a deck that counts on it so much and so early as well. The one problem with this deck I've had in the game so far is that it just does not finish quick enough. I'd like an Anthem effect, like say Heraldic Banner, but again, I really don't want to play 3 drops in the deck. So aside from that, I guess the only thing I didn't talk about here was Lash of Thorns. I think I missed that. There's just a 2 of in the deck. I've been trying this out. It can take down, you know, bigger creatures with really small guys. Sometimes that can be really important because there's a lot of very big creatures in this format. This can ambush things on attacks or blocks and just really take people by surprise, but it is also basically card disadvantage in a deck that does not want to have too much card disadvantage. But there are occasions where it kills something really, really big, or you know, it punches a creature through for 2 extra combat damage and wins the game, but those are few and far between. That said, I'm still testing Lash of Thorns in the deck. I still have some faith in it, although it's gone from 4 copies down to 2 copies because it wasn't as useful in as many situations as I wanted it to be. But aside from that, that's pretty much the deck. We've got 2 copies of Castle Locthwain that we barely ever activate, but it's nice to have the ability to, so put those in there. Aside from that, that's the deck, so let's go ahead and go into the arena and see if a 15-land mono black deck with some pretty weak sauce creatures, all things considered, can pick up some wins. Alright, so opponent goes first up here against Toxic Lemonade. I don't like that they go first, but I do like that we have 2 lands and cat combo in our hand. That is pretty nice. They're going to lead on Fabled Passage. We're just going to Gutter Bones turn 1 more than likely here. Still got to draw a card, so we're not sure. Alright, so we got the dead weight. Yeah, let's go ahead and G Breezy. Say go, what you doing? They got a island off the, an island off the Fabled Passage. That's a decent sign. Alright, Plains on turn 2 into Glass Casket on the Gutter Bones. So maybe it's just blue-white. Maybe it's just that deck. We get a Lash of Thorns on the draw step. Let's just Witch's Oven. Is that right? Yeah, I think so. It's Witch's Oven. Cauldron Familiar. Could have more creatures in our hand. We really could. In the turn, go ahead and get the shop set up with the cat combo here. See if we can expand on that. Opponent goes Island, so just basic lands so far. A Banishing Light. Oh, come on, man. Gonna ruin all of our fun. Toxic Lemonade. It's not very cash money at you. At all. We had things set up so well. Alright, Cauldron Familiar comes back. Let's go ahead and do that. They're tapped out. Doesn't matter. They will get our Witch's Oven, which I just hate, if you cannot tell. I've probably fussed about it enough. At this point, let's just get in first. Hateful Eidolon, Mogus's Favor. And we can at least get some damage output going here. Wonder if they'll shatter this turn. At least we'll draw a card. If they do. But if they shatter, that's just, that's our game. Well, they can't. They do gain a life off Tranquil Cove, and every life counts. What you gonna do? Actually, the ways they have of dealing with Hateful Eidolon, we won't draw the card, so... you know, and then here's living proof in Prison Realm. So just blue-white, straight-up blue-white enchantments is what we're seeing. Maybe there's going to be an Archon next turn. Maybe. 1 to the top. 1 to the top! It's not good. Banehound. I'll go ahead and Foulmire Knight. Get him in. 16, that's still a really high life total. Dream Trawler just like ends up ruining us. It's probably what's going to happen. But maybe we can kill a Dream Trawler with Lash of Thorns somehow. Or an Archon for that matter, because I think... Oh, a Mirror Maid. Interesting. Okay. That's fine. We don't have anything like super high impact right now, so whatever. You use your enchantments. They're down to 2 cards. So are we. Oh, sweet. Okay. Hateful Eidolon. Get in. Opponent's at 14. It's not... It's looking better, but it's still not great. I'd like to get them at least half their starting life total before they start going crazy. There's Dream Trawler mana. See if they follow up with it. Banishing Light. It's like the only card in their deck. Just blue-white Banishing Lights. It's much better when you get to go first, as they did. They can still Banishing Light something else. I wonder if they will. Yeah, it's a fairy. Okay. That's whatever, I guess. The play here is to not bounce a creature. Yep. There we go. Hey, we get another land. That'd be cool if Mogis' Favor was worth having right now. They have no cards. They officially have no cards in their hand. We can't quite kill this Teferi with Lash of Thorns. We can't quite. I'd like to, though. Teferi is not often a card that is great against us. But again, opponent got to go first. They've decimated our board state with every, white removal spell in Standard. So that's how things happen. That's exactly how things happen. They're going to scry. It goes to the bottom here. Imagine they're just looking for Dream Trawler. Or Archon. The Archon's got to be in this deck, right? Look at all of this removal. This is more than is normally advisable. But, hey, it worked out for him this game, I guess. Because I'm pretty sure we were going to lose this one. Alright, return Prison Realm to their hand. Draw the card. It's a Mirror Maid, excuse me. Oh, a Smothering Tithe. Oh, is it that kind of party? Are we doing emergency powers? Huh, okay. Respect you. I respect you, and I hear your truth. Resolve. I think I might pay it. Yeah, why not, right? Screw it. Let's Foulmire Knight. Bam, bam, bam. Opponent at 11. I mean, Smothering Tide doesn't matter that much because they can just cast emergency powers. But they're just going to draw lands. They're pulling a me over there. Come on, Toxic Lemonade. I believe in you. You got one of the best names in the entire arena meta. You can pull this off. I mean, you're not even at half your starting life total. You got this. You got this all day. Give me some really hot, spicy jank right now. Mirror Maid. What you going to copy? I assume Smothering Tide, but no, Prison Realm. Just going to grab the Bane Hound. We can put opponent at 6 this turn with Lash of Thorns. Yeah, you can have it. You can have that. Let's Knight of the Ebon Legion. And then next turn we can favor it, perhaps. Or we can just pump it. Probably the better choice. It's all attack. I am going to go ahead and Lash of Thorns to grow the Knight of the Ebon Legion. Pressure the opponent as much as possible. They're down to 6. They should sweep this turn. They don't absolutely have to. They get Mirror Maid. Probably just going to lock up Knight of the Ebon Legion. That's the thing to do. Prison Realm. How many is that now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? 5 Prison Realm, or 5, Banishing Light / Prison Realms. And a Glass Casket for good measure. It's a cute deck. Just Mirror Maid, removal enchantments. Alright, they're going to scry 2 main phase here. They just don't have the patience to wait. Can't do it. Can't do it. See if they get a creep 1 to the top. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. 1 to the top. Alright, let's go ahead and pay for it. Why not? We know what we're doing this turn. Vampire of the Dire Moon. Swing in. They're at 3. Let's see what they put on top. Please don't sweep us. Please don't sweep us. Emergency powers. Okay. No. Well, Smothering Tide still has to trigger here a bunch of times. Doesn't it? I mean, that's the whole point of the deck. Yeah. Yeah, there we go. Okay, they just had to play the Teferi first. Alright. That makes sense. So now they're going to start going off. They drew the emergency powers this turn. They drew the card they needed this turn. Gave us enough hope to get by on. But hey, maybe they somehow didn't draw enough removal to not lose. Maybe. Maybe. We'll see. We do have a Hasty Banehound in our hand. Glass Casket. Okay. Get rid of the Vampire. And they'll Teferi something. Okay. I think we might be able to... Oh, emergency powers! No! Where was all the mana for it? I was looking for mana over here. You can't see my cursor because I don't record my cursor, but... You know, it usually shows how much mana they have under their life total here. And I didn't see it. I don't know. But, alright, they're just going to keep going off here. Ah, man. Another whisper of a chance. We whispered of a dream there for a moment. Didn't quite happen. Still have 8 mana over there and a full grip. But I am still daring to dream. Emergency powers. Alright. Cool, cool. It's not like infinite or anything, so, I mean, you might as well hold on and let him go off, because it's cool to watch him go off. The Emergency Powers deck is awesome. 2 Cauldron Familiars in our hand now, so if we keep this hand, maybe. Possibly. Yep. Well, they're running out of time. Maybe they'll time out. Glass Casket. Comes down. See, like, they just sacrificed all their treasure, but, like, where's their mana? That's usually it tells you how much mana they have. But alright, whatever. See what else they do this turn, because I want them to keep going. Teferi, alright. They still don't have a Stead to Rights. It's entirely possible we draw a Cauldron Familiar. If they don't, emergency powers again, but I don't think they can now. Come on, come on. Come on, come on, come on. Alright. Last chance. Okay, it's a Banehound, which isn't quite good enough. Decline. Decline. Can put him at 1 off Cauldron Familiar. Still have 2 mana left. What I'd really like to do, though, is Mire's Grasp, Mogis' Favor, this Fae of Wishes. Especially while they're tapped out. Alright, so Mire's Grasp. They still have 5 treasures. Said they're tapped out, but they still have 5 treasures. And they're definitely thinking of doing something here. They have instant speed interaction. Yeah, just return it to your hand. Oh, wait, does that... Ah! Why don't we have 1 more mana? Why don't we have 1 more mana? Oh, no. Alright, well, Cauldron Familiar. Banehound. Get through for 1. Alright, if you give us another turn, you better gain some life. Or, you know, emergency powers again, because that'll do it as well. Just, you know, wipe this Cauldron Familiar from our hand. But we have some likelihood of drawing another one. If they have wishes, gets granted. And they probably will gain some life. I imagine they'll grab something that gains them some life. And it's emergency powers. Okay. Just going to start going off here. But we'll see. I really wish they'd play the card. Thank you. This requires so much intense thought. There's no Cauldron Familiar, but maybe they'll reset our hand again. Or maybe we'll draw one. Well, we got a Witch's Oven, so that's good enough if they don't remove Cauldron Familiar. But it looks like they're about to. Oh, well. They thought about Banehound. They thought about it. But not quite. 16 mana over there. They can powers again. Still scrying. 0 to the top. 1 to the bottom. What you got, Lemonade? Life gave you lemons. Toxic lemons. You gotta make toxic lemonade. Alright, so they're casting Granted again. What are you gonna grant for this time? They have 12 mana. It's basically all the mana. Tezzeret! Oh no! Tezzeret drains, right? You gain X life. Well, good game, opponent. Oh man, again, just the whisper, the breath of a chance of a possibility, but in the end, nope, that's our game. Good game, opponent. Good game. Alright, opponent goes first here against Juggernauts 721. And our hand is looking okay. I'll take it. It's got we got 2 lands, so that's all I care about. I wonder if we could go down to 13. I mean, it's given us 2 landers twice in a row. Opponent also goes first twice in a row, which is terrible. We really need to go first to have any real hope in these games. And it's supposed to be 50-50, but it's not. I never go first. I hate to fuss too much, but it's like you may have noticed from some of the games that we played on camera in the last year here that like we just don't go first here on the channel. But they're gonna Kroxa. Oh god, they're gonna Kroxa. Well, what do they play in their deck that's 3 toughness? Mayhem Devil, probably? Yeah, if this is a Red-Black Sacrifice, we just lose anyway. And they have taken to playing Kroxa in their deck. So Kroxa and Mire Triton are the new tech in that deck nowadays. Let's just Knight of the Ebon Legion. Foulmire Knight. Get on through. Opponent's at a whole 19. But maybe they'll play something. Yep, Blood Aspirant. Or we can just deadweight. Nice if we get a Hateful Eidolon this turn. We don't. We're gonna go Gutter Bones. But at least we can deadweight. That's Blood Aspirant away. And then G Breezy. Get through for 3-zy. Play a Sweezy. Swamp. And say go. Alright, this is a deck that I really don't want to play against. I've already said Red-Black Sacrifice, a deck that we are pretty terrible against. Why are you playing Satyr's Cunning? Well, alright. They are. Well, you get 4 lands. Playing 15 lands in the deck. There we've seen 4 of them. Let's go ahead and Mire's Grasp this Aspirant before things go horribly wrong. Get through for all the damage. And grow this, both of these Knights. It's looking good, though. This is a deck I don't want to play against, but it's looking okay. Hopefully they don't Mayhem Devil plus other things this turn. That would be bad. Looking in the graveyard. Can you already get Kroxa? Yeah, wow, jeez. That's not good. We have the mana to play a creature and Knight of the Ebon Legion, like Pump Knight next turn, so that's not bad. They have to have the mana to get Kroxa. They do. Okay. They're at 9. We can put them at 1 next turn. We get a Banehound, we can win the game. Or a Cauldron Familiar wins the game too. I think that's how things are shaking out right now. It's a Foulmire Knight, though. They're going to oops us. I wonder if that is entirely an oops. We'll see. Got a block with Crocs. Oh, interesting. Well, let's Pump Knight. Put him at 1. And then play Foulmire Knight, so we have a blocker for Kroxa if we need one. I mean, we don't even really have to block Kroxa. We can just take the 9 to the face. And they're gonna... Oh no! Act of treason! Ugh. Yikes. Yuck. Just those? Okay. Now what? Oh, no. It's fine, though. They're going to good game us. It's all good. We're going to do one regardless. We'll just Cauldron Familiar for the win. That seems fine. Good game, opponent. Very, very good game. I'll say it again. In case I didn't the first time, I'm not sure I did. I think I did. I think I was polite enough to say it the first time. But all right. We picked one up against literally the deck that I am most scared of when I'm playing with this deck. All right, we got one here. And we go first, too, against Director. Clyde the Glide Director over there. And this is a pretty fine hand, too. We get the 2-lander again. That's 3 in a row. It's looking pretty good. Let's go ahead and play Gutter Bones. Get that down. And then next turn, maybe we can Cauldron Familiar Witch's Oven if we draw one. Temple of Deceit is our opponent's first play. Ooh. That's pretty nice. We can double Knight of the Ebon Legion. Which is precisely what I'll do. Hopefully we don't get hit by Cry the Carnarium at some point this game. That's a card that'll just completely wreck us. But next turn we can start growing these Knight of the Ebon Legions. Yes, we can. Yes, we can. We get another land, too. That's pretty cool. Might just keep the cards in our hand for now. Don't risk these Cauldron Familiars getting swept up. Although... Alright, Fairy Vandal's going to come down. What you gonna block, buddy? Nothing. Okay. Well, bam, bam, bam. Since they played Vandal, this is a blue-black flash deck, more than likely, so I don't think we have to worry about getting swept. We do have to worry about removal, Tyrant Scorn, Brazen Borrower, and whatnot. So let's keep those in mind as we move forward here. Sage's Road Denizen, are you mill? Okay. I respect that. The hell out of it, honestly. Let's just swing in with both of these. Maybe should have Myers Grasped first, like played Hateful Eidolon, then Myers Grasped. But, oh, they don't block. Okay. No blocks. That'll grow our knights. And now we can Hateful Eidolon. Myers Grasp. I might want to hit the Fairy Vandal, to be honest. Yeah, I'll do that. These are too big to care about Sage's Road Denizen now anyway, so just kill the creature that can get way bigger as the game goes on. So I get the feeling if they get enough cards, like enough mana, enough time, they'll be able to play a bunch of creatures in the same turn. I guess it doesn't matter because we just win. We just win off of aggro. That's what the deck's trying to do, so I guess we pulled it off. Alright, we're up against Blast, and we go first here with a 2-lander after having just demonstrated the power of going first with this deck. Let's hope that we get a repeat of the last game here. Opponent's got some cool sleeves over there. I'm just going to lead on Gutter Bones, the same start we had last game. I wish that instead of Vampire of the Dire Moons, these were, you know, Knight of the Ebon Legions. That'd be way better, but I'll take what you can get. Dire Moon's still a good card. Alright, opponent leads on Thornwood Falls. Every life counts. It really does. Well, let's Banehound. We're definitely doing that. Let's do that. And then Vamp of the Dire Moon, maybe? Well, I'll go ahead and get Hateful Eidolon in place. I don't think we have to worry too much about removal, but maybe we're playing against Bant, so we have to worry about, like, Glass Casket. We'll see. Or Soul Ties, so we have to worry about Tyrant Scorn. We'll see. Anyway, I want to go ahead and get Hateful Eidolon in place, just in case they play a creature and we draw Myers Grasp. Like now, that would be the perfect time. Nope, we don't, but would have been cool. I guess we just bang in here for 2. A whole 2 damage. No, they don't block. Okay. Expecting tricks, perhaps. Well, let's just play it out. Let's just play it out. Cauldron Familiar. And let's see if this is Risen Reef or Uro. Let's find out together. How'd you get the name Blast without having to put like numbers or other words in it? You were the first person to the name Blast. At least you have that distinction. Alright, Lava Coil and the Gutter Bones. It's Teamer. Very likely Teamer Elementals. Leafkin Druid. Mogi's favor. I like saying Mogi. Let's go ahead and swing in the crew here. Blocks Cauldron Familiar. Take 6. You're down to 5. Better start doing something. But they probably will here. I have 5 mana this turn. Here comes Risen Reef. That actually doesn't do much, but maybe they'll get a Healer of the Glade? That would be good. No, they don't. Okay. Swing everything. Blocks Hateful Eidolon with the 0/3. And does not block any of the 1/1s. That puts them at 3. I'm going to Foulmire Knight. I just want to extend the board presence as much as we can. They're already at 3. Jeezy crazy. What would be really good right now is Scampering Scorcher. That would be, like, very, very good. It's an Omnath. That's still pretty decent. But it doesn't solve any of their real problems. Mire's Grasp. That should finish the game. Should. Risen Reef up to 2/2. And Delicious. Alright, Mire's Grasp. The Omnath. And seal their fate. Good game, right? I mean, would I be a jerk to say good game? Might as well, right? Well, nice. We have out-aggroed 3 opponents in a row. That's pretty nice. Why won't we get one more in? All right, we go first with 2 lands because 15 lands is entirely acceptable, apparently. And we get Hateful Eidolon Kai's Ghost Form. We'll probably do that on turn 2. I want to go to Burns. I want to Mr. Burns on turn 1 here. Banehound would be like the most aggro way to get things started, but I'm going to go to Bones. Because actually, the thinking person's most aggro way is to Gutter Bones into Banehound this turn. Alright, they led on Simic Guildgate. I wonder if it's Gates or if they're just playing Simic. Probably won't have to worry about too much removal next turn, so I don't think we have to play Eidolon into Ghost Form like right now. Yeah, it's just Banehound. Bam, bam. And then Eidolon. Say go. Alright, 753. That's a name. Alright, it's Gates. It's Gates, because that's Gateway Plaza. I wonder if we're going to get hit by a Blaze next turn. Wonder if we are. Well, just in case we do, let's go ahead and protect against that as much as possible. Ghost Form. Ghost Form. Get in. Opponent at 13 now. And even if they do a Blaze, we're in pretty decent position here. They're going to Growth Spiral. See if they have another land. They do. Okay. Zorius Guildgate comes down, but they didn't have a drop for the turn. So I think we may have won this game here. Let's go ahead and get in. Boom, boom, boom. They're at 9, so I can't really say we've won the game. But let's Cauldron Familiar to put them at 8. End the turn. At this point, we can easily still be stopped. And Gates Ablaze. But we'll draw a couple of cards, get a couple of creatures back. Oh, that's good. Yeah, those are good cards. If they have another Ablaze, that's very bad. But at least we got Gutter Bones. Alright, they're at 5. But again, I'm really worried about another Gates Ablaze here. Because they just always have like 7 copies of them. No, they're going to scoop it up. Nice. They did not have the other Gates Ablaze. So, wow, we won 4 games in pretty short order. The one game that we lost was a long, drawn-out affair, but we're bound to lose those. That's just how the deck is structured. You know, the longer the game goes, the less chance we have of winning. But the shorter the game is, the more chance we caused that. So, you know, actually we did kind of well. This was unranked. We didn't go up against too many like amazing decks either. We did come up against and completely ruin a red-black sacrifice deck, which is probably the best deck against us in the format. But you know, we went first. We put them on the back foot. We ended up winning that game because we were able to extend our board presence enough that their creatures didn't matter. So, and they didn't get Mayhem Devil in time to do real damage. So that game was surprisingly a win for us. But a lot of the other games were kind of, you know, non-decks in the format. Even the Gates deck is kind of a tier 8 deck. So, you know, take that how you will. But I think the main experiment here was, you know, we're playing a bunch of 1-drops and 15 lands. How does that work out? We already know that 13 lands works out in mono red. Thanks to, I think, Covert Go Blue was the first YouTuber to pull that experiment off. But, you know, 15 lands in mono black apparently works too, and you even more often get the 2-landers. And when you go first, you just crush your opponents. So, you know, try it out if you get a chance. This deck is actually really cheap in paper. I know Knight of the Ebon Legion is a couple of bucks. Knight of the Castle Lockdwayne is probably still like $5 right now, but do any of these cards cost any money aside from that? I guess maybe Gutter Bones is like $1, but yeah, this deck is probably really cheap in paper, so haven't checked it out yet, but you know, I will have the link in the description to the deck list on TCG Player, so if you want to pick this one up, it's probably a really good F&M deck, but also a really good casual deck, obviously, you know. You saw just now, it's really, really fun to play, too, and there's some thinking to be done in terms of, you know, what you play first and how you sequence your early turns and whatnot. So it's a fun deck. It's a lot of fun to play. It's really cheap. So if you want to check it out, again, link in the description to TCG Player. Pick up the deck for super cheap prices, and it's already a super cheap deck. But, you know, again, give me your suggestions for changes down there in the comments section. I like the idea of Priest of Forgotten Gods. I think that'd be good late game reach when we get these big board states, but we still can't quite attack through. I think Priest might still be good. Same thing with Ephemia. Although we don't always have a bunch of enchantments in our graveyard, so I'm still not sold. But let me know how you feel about that and any of these other cards, plus anything else that I may have missed while going through this deck. But again, it did pretty freaking well, so I hope you enjoyed it. I did. It was a great day for me. And if you liked the video, make sure you like the content. Just hit the thumbs up button. Subscribe if you're new, or if you just don't subscribe to YouTube channels. Like, literally, I think 70% of the YouTube watching audience doesn't sub to channels, but make one exception this one time and sub to your dude for more content like this. Put that in your recommended feed. And also, if you really want to support this content, make sure I can keep doing this without having to, like, find Wi-Fi in a box somewhere. There's a hole up next to Starbucks with a laptop and find live Wi-Fi and just do this. In a refrigerator carton somewhere, then make sure you hit the link in the description to go to Patreon, or just go to patreon.com/sbmtg. $1 a month is all I ask. Help support content like this, and it'll let you vote on what decks we even do around here. This one was kind of spur of the moment. Patrons didn't vote on this, but I don't think the patrons are mad at me for putting out jank decks either, especially ones that are like experimental and weird and somehow work out. So again, hope you enjoyed it. I sure as heck did. And yeah, I'm dead from the place. Thanks for watching, my wizards. Spread love and be kind.